What's up, everybody? Welcome to Daily Refinement. On Wednesdays, we do the mastermind call live on YouTube. Today's topic is what's working, what's not working, what's getting in the way. I will tell you guys that nothing has worked better ever in the history of me hiring people, which I did immediately, than having the same person photograph and list. In the entire time I've been doing this, I always separated it. So one person did one task, one person did photography, one person did listing, one person did cleaning. And what that did was it created piles of unfinished things everywhere. So these are photographed but not listed. These are listed but not put away. These are not cleaned. These are my project pile of things that never actually get done. I still have project pile things from years ago. So one person all the way through. It does take a lot longer to train. You have to know exactly what you're doing. Otherwise, they can't do it from start to finish. But that's worked better for me than anything I've ever done. So, because when you take the pictures and then list immediately after, you remember all of the defects. So, what I recommend for people, if you have limited time, is just do 5 listings like that. Take 5 sets of pictures, immediately list all 5. You'll be shocked at how fast they sell because you're going to list them perfectly. So if you could train your staff to do that, then what happens is, let's say you train someone to do 20 a day, right? They take pictures of 20 items, sit at their computer and do 20 a day. You'll be amazed. They'll remember all the defects, all the item specifics will be correct. But if you do it any other way, it will turn into what's not working. So for me, what's not working is my old inventory system where I have to dig through the bin and find the item. It only takes a few seconds extra versus a system where they're all in order. But the few seconds extra times hundreds of items is insane. So I want to change my inventory system. I'm not going to change the whole thing. That doesn't work. Just the new items are going to go into the new inventory system. So I think everyone's going to do that. You're going to grow into whatever system that you want. I recommend you have a system that can accommodate for different size items. Even as a clothing seller, coats, jackets, those are stored differently. I'm considering not selling coats and jackets, even though they have the highest ASP for me, just because space-wise, it's harder. It takes longer to put it into a bag to ship. So
why don't you just store them separately?
yeah, I know that would be a way to do it, but I'm just saying that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So yeah, I don't have a way of storing jackets and coats that I'm happy with. So that's not working. I'll figure out what to do. Right now, I have probably 600 coats that are just sitting there. You know, I list like 5 a day, and they sell really quickly. And we're getting into the cold season. I need to do them, but I don't know how to store them.
Just get a really big bag. The 12 by 17s work for me. I mean, the higher ASP is worth the extra 10 seconds it takes to bag them.
That's true. And I think that my normal bins can fit maybe 20 items. Maybe I'll just be okay with 4 jackets in there or 5 jackets in there. So I'll get over myself and get over it. Let's see. Tom puts them on a reel. So Thomas, we'll start with you. What's working? What's not working? What's getting in the way?
You proposed and I was trying to think.
Oh, sorry, wrong Thomas.
Yeah, which Thomas?
We'll go U.S. Thomas first.
Okay, me as Thomas. Got it. Everything that I usually think isn't working ends up working. Like when I think that I won't be able to find more glasses, I find more glasses. Whenever I think that, I won't be able to get my listings done, I get them done. I guess until yesterday/2 days ago, I never had like a number in mind of everything I had to do every day. I just did as many as I could do, which didn't free up the weekends. And on the weekends, sometimes something would come up and I'd do like 20. And then I don't know what, something actually clicked where you were like, no, if you list every single day the same amount versus kind of like averaging it out over several days, it's better to just be more consistent every day. And probably the biggest thing that having that number did is it really kind of, it makes it so that like once I hit that number, the rest of the day is like not free because I still work and do a bunch of stuff, but it makes it changes the mindset of being much more free in the sense of like, oh, okay, I got that done. Now I can move on to the next thing, which is a lot bigger than it seems. So that,
Yeah, because you can actually be done.
yeah,
At least
although
you're
I'm
done with the
never
listing
done.
part. Yeah, done with
Yeah,
the
done with
listing
the
part.
listing part. The listing part, yeah.
So what's not working?
Um, well, I still have not hit really anything to do with Death Mountain, which is not helping. Probably because I keep focusing on, well, not probably, because I keep focusing on this glasses thing. So I'm trying to really get that off and self-sustainable. So I'm trying to figure out how I can get a hold of more new inventory that I don't need prep, because if they're used, I need to really look over every pair, make sure they're, not, because condition is significant on these things. If there's 10 different pairs up, I need to make sure mine is in good condition. So I clean them all. I have to balance them, make sure they're like even and whatnot. So trying to figure out how to get new inventory in the sense of like new with tags with demo lenses so that I don't have to do all of that. Or figuring out how to process all of the used ones faster so that I can free up my time to do the clothes more.
So I wonder, I mean, this is probably very difficult, but there's a gentleman in the UK that has a relationship with Luxottica. And that company, I think that you can buy returns from them, but I don't know how. Have you?
So I'm that would be totally awesome. I just
Yeah.
look at it and go like, do I want to wake the sleeping dog? Like, I have, I don't know, 5,000, 6,000 items, probably most of which are made by Luxottica up. Do I want to be like, hey, no, like I sell a lot of your frames, and then be like, oh, we're just going to wipe you out entirely and say, we don't want you listing our stuff because it's all used. So I'm like, yes, I think it'd be a great thing to contact them if they are
Yeah.
willing to give stuff. But
Interesting. That goes back to you have two personas, Thomas the seller and then Thomas the buyer, and you are a separate entity.
of course,
But then they would figure it out if they gave you inventory and then they looked and they saw it in your store. Then
yeah, I mean, there's enough sellers that are selling sunglasses, not a whole
Yeah.
lot that are selling used eyeglasses.
That's right.
But yeah,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what's getting in the way of you tackling Death Mountain at least a little bit a day?
So every single day, I need to have over 100 pairs ready for my photographer. So earlier, over the past 2 months, I've had like a massive back stock of like several thousand pairs that were all ready to go, so that I had time every day to do it, to deal with the close. But now that there's probably only, I don't know, 2 weeks worth, I want to make sure that I kind of keep up with it. 2 weeks worth of back stock in case something happens to me, so that she can continue taking pictures for those 2 weeks and I don't have to ready more glasses. So I'm thinking like, okay, every day I have to do the listings and then prepare another 100 pairs or so, because I have plenty available. I just need to wash them and balance them and get them all ready for her. But that takes time. It's kind of like Isaiah and cleaning shoes. You have to make sure that they're clean enough so that they sell and that they look good in presentation.
Yeah, that's great advice, because when we saw Isaiah's ASP yesterday, you made the comment that he might be cleaning a lot of shoes that don't sell for a lot.
It's brutal, dude.
Yeah.
It was like $15 shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, my ASP, so this is totally ridiculous. I have gone, my 30-day went from 30,000 to 55, and my ASP went from 33 to $48.
Yeah. That's huge.
Which makes no sense, but I think it's a lot of just to do with the niche. Even though I'm putting up 100 a day, like it's not in the sense of like clothes where a bunch of the ones that I've listed that day sell. Like yesterday I listed, I don't know how many Coach eyeglasses, probably like 30. And if you look at the sell-through rate, it's like, it'll probably take a year and a half for every one of those to sell, maybe 2 years. So the sell-through rate is low on those, but at the same time, they take up, again, no space. I don't have that much invested in them. So I'm okay with it when, a pair of Burberry sells for $90.
So why
That's
is why is your ASP going up? I'm just curious. Different merchandise, higher quality, more
It's
promoted
just,
listings?
no, it's just it's because I'm selling less clothes and more glasses. And the glasses that I list and that seem to sell better are the ones that are more in demand. It's kind of like if somebody can go to the store, you can go to the optician and pay $30 for a pair of frames. There's not a big advantage to me selling them for $20 online new. You know, like that's a big kind of hassle for someone to deal with. But if there's a $250 pair of frames that I'm selling for 50 or 60 or 70, that's a big difference. And someone's willing to take on that, you know, that time burden of buying something for me, waiting for it to arrive and then taking it to their optometrist.
So you're adjusting your niche. You're getting like totally in a groove there.
I'm not really adjusting anything because at this point I'm just trying to find like, I'm just like, okay, I need to find inventory as much as possible. I just ordered 400 pairs from some random dude in Sweden of all places because they're all brand new and they're all like really high-end brands. So I'm getting those for like $5 a pop. I don't know how in the world he's selling them for $5 a pop, all brand new, but I'll buy those all day and figure out what the import charges are. At the same time, the other day I went and drove like half an hour, 45 minutes south of me and picked up 350 pairs of like really low end stuff, like stuff that'll sell for like $30 a pop. But again, I only paid like 30 cents a pop for them. So I'm kind of thinking like, what is my dream store? And it kind of seems to be, you know, Replacements, the store that sells all the annoying China in one pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of think of my store end up being like that. Like I'm not trying to have every frame, but just based on the fact of me finding everything that I come across and listing it, I kind of feel like that's what I'll end up being, just having every frame. And if you need it, I'll be the guy that has it, either in used or new condition.
Gotcha. So you spend your
What's
whole
the
day.
name of your store?
The
I
limited
want to buy some frames.
This calls public, so we
Oh,
probably shouldn't
okay.
share anything.
I'll message him.
All right, fair enough. Cool, Thomas. Thank you for sharing. That is. So actually, one more question for you. Are you able to list everything that the photographer takes?
So I have a VA that makes drafts for me. It
Okay.
makes listing about 3 to 4 times faster.
Mhm.
I've kind of figured out the things that she never messes up on, and then the things that she, you know, isn't totally perfect on.
Mhm.
So I'll change the things that she isn't perfect on, and then I'll take since she's in the Philippines, I'll take a little video through WhatsApp,
Mhm.
and just say like, this is in the future, you need to change this, and then she's really good, and it gets fixed for the next time. So I set my number at 70 a day. My photographer does 120. So 70 plus banking as many as my VA photographed, VA listed. So it's going to be about probably, I think 70 plus 30 to 40 banked every day, which is going to go up. I mean, I think I'm going to eventually within the next month try to do 100 plus 40 or 50 banked. A lot of those being close. But I don't think I answered your question because I forgot what it was.
Well, I was just trying to make sure there's not a big photo bank building up.
There's no big photo bank. There's no Eduardo photo bank building up.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
I also wanted to report to the group that Eduardo is up. So maybe last week, Eduardo got spanked on our public call, which I felt kind of bad, but he is improving a lot. So I am happy that, you know, I'm just trying to let him know that you can't do things that bottleneck your business because it will destroy you. It's so mentally
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Eduardo. Yeah, Eduardo, thank you, because it's mentally so heavy when you have piles of stuff building up. Eduardo, do you want to chat? What's working?
Well, focusing on my listing is working right now for me, and lowering my prices is working for me. Basically that's something it was wired into my brain that I had to get, you know, the most out of my money. And it's part of what you guys discussed on the latest podcast, you know. And Michelle was also like, man, you have to hit, you have to just accept them. You're going to make a ton of money. And I just said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to trust you guys. I'm just going to follow it and do it. And that's what I started doing. I started accepting lower offers and I started lowering my prices. And I also changed my handling to 1 day. So that has made also a good improvement, I guess. There's no way. I was telling Tech last night that there's no way for me to measure it. So I can't know for sure that, but I'm guessing it is because of that I'm getting more offers and I'm getting more sales. So that is working for me, being able to accept, being able to leave a little bit on the table, not worry so much about that and worry more about making more sales more quickly and forgetting about trying to get the most money for the item. I guess because I come from the collector world where you try when you buy something, you want to get the most out of, when you're going to resell it for somebody else, you want to get the most out of it because they value it really quickly. So I guess because of that, my brain was stuck to that idea. So now I'm just letting stuff go and moving things quicker, lowering my prices, and that's working really well for me.
I used to sell collectible sneakers hardcore, and I remember talking to a lot of collectors, and I have a really good friend in New York who's super rich, and he's like, okay, this is how it works. If it's exactly what I want, I will give you all the money. So I'll tell you what I want. If you find it for me, I will pay you full market value. Somebody sold it for 500, I'll give you 500. If it's not exactly what I want, I can't give you market value. You have to give me a deal. So that's something interesting to think about, because this is like the ultimate collector. He has $3 million worth of shoes in his collection. He will not pay all the money if it's not what he wants, even with unlimited money. So that's
when you say it's not what he wants, what does that mean? Like,
so I'll
in
give you an
terms of
example.
my offering in my store, for example.
So let's say there's a pair of Heineken Dunks that he wants. So he has every single pair he finds, he buys. If it's $2,000 or less, he'll pay it. But if it's a Heineken pair of Dunks and someone's worn it before, or it's not the right size, or it's not exactly what he's looking for, he'll still buy it, but he wants a discount because it's not exactly what he wants. He doesn't wear shoes that have been worn before, so he'll just collect it. He's one of those people where, like, if he sees a pair, he wants it so that you can't have it, even in a different size. He's just like that. But he doesn't want to pay full price unless it's his size and never been worn before, and he can put it on his feet. So, like, he's the ultimate collector. So in order to be, and I think that makes sense, because when you get to that super duper high level of collecting, you don't want people to have what you have. I've seen that in pretty much every high-end collector. They collect all of them. They don't want anyone else to have it. If there's two available, they'll buy both.
Yeah, that was me in the G.I. Joe world.
There's
doing that, buying all the expensive things and all the things that were really rare so that others wouldn't have it. And then when it's also time to sell, then I'm the only one that has it. So the price.
There's a pair of so HBO did a show called Entourage, and they made some Air Force Ones that were sold in the show. And Mark Wahlberg got a pair that was one of one. That's gold. It has gold leaf on it. So he said, if you can figure out how to get that from Mark Wahlberg, I'll pay you $20,000 on top of whatever Mark Wahlberg wants for it, because there's only one of them, and it's historically significant because he has it and he made the show, so it's cool. So that's your finder's fee for going to go get it, and whatever he wants for it is fine. That's like, there's that, right? But then if I have, because I've sold him regular Entourages that are not gold, they're blue before, for a couple $1,000s, but he'll buy them even not in his size. But just not all the money. So what Brian was saying earlier, between the balance between giving it away and then all the money, it depends on the buyer. If I don't really want it, but it's a good deal, I might buy it. So that's why when you go to a car lot and they say, I know you really want the blue one, but the black one's $2,000 less, you might buy the black one because it's a good deal. So that is a classic consumer thinking. And I think it's important to think that there are more people who do not want exactly what you have than people who want exactly what you have. It's just really hard to find someone that's looking for that exact thing that you have. Like,
Right.
but if you do, you can ask all the money. But if you have a whole store of all the money, you won't sell anything. It's hard.
Yeah,
You got to
that's-
find the exact
I
person.
was worried because my sales were slow, and it's because of that. I was wanting the whole money for. So now what I'm doing is like the really rare and expensive parts. I'm keeping them up there, like at a higher price, and waiting for that buyer who wants them. And then all the stuff that's, you know, regular, normal, instead of wanting all the money for it, I'm just letting it go for a good deal. And then that's helping me move items, and that's working.
I'm trying to think of the all the money stores in like let's use a Ferrari dealership. 99.99% of people who walk in there do not buy one. Right? The person that owns a Honda dealership makes 100 times more money than the person that works at the Ferrari dealership, because everyone buys a Honda. So it's
Right.
just it's interesting how that works, because you don't have to discount a Ferrari, but you do need to wait for 1,000 rich dudes or women to come in before you sell one. It's not that easy to sell it. Robin says there's a fine line between collecting and hoarding. Robin, can you chat? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Hey, yeah,
What's up?
sure.
What's working? What's not working?
Um, nothing's working. um, I was gone for like a month basically, and then my best friend got married.
Okay.
So I'm actually, I can tell you what's working. I found a supplier.
Mm-hmm.
For used clothes, like basically for nothing, except for like the cost of doing a ton of laundry. And it's awesome because I can take a lot of it to like Plato's Closet, and we have a children's consignment chain as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of covers my cost of goods completely, plus, then some. And so it's like a little bit more labor up front, but it's like really manual labor, which is nice because I have so much going on. It's nice to just have like, there's no perfect titles to write, none of that. And he'll deliver it right to my door, and he'll help me carry it to my second story office. And yeah, it's pretty great. I haven't like, it's not been long enough. I haven't been able to focus hard enough, just because I've not been around, to like see for sure that it works. But like I got 24 trash bags for $100, like big trash bags. I took one like regular kitchen size trash bag to Plato's, and they gave me $46 for it. So,
So when you go to Plato's Closet, do you just drop it off and come back later?
Yeah. So I drop it off and I go do my Amazon sourcing at like Walmart and Burlington and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go back and get it. So I'm kind of like doubling up. And actually Lots for Tots and Plato's are in the same like 5-mile radius. So I can do both. And I can make my kid help me with laundry, which is cool. He can actually do that.
How old your boy's 3?
He'll be 4 in a month or so.
Okay.
Yeah, he can put stuff. We can use the down low dryers at the laundromat because he can put stuff in and take it back out again. The stuff no grown up wants to use. Yeah, so that is working. It was really overwhelming because it's like a monthly thing, and so I ended up with 2 months worth of stuff to deal with because I was gone for a month.
There's a lot of nuggets in what you said. It's really nice if you buy a lot to be able to sell some of it and recoup your cost of goods. Also, if you can have a consumer buyer like Plato's Closet, that's really good.
Yeah.
And then also, if you buy from people, they regularly want you to continue to get that order. So you don't want to be like, oh, you know what? This week, I don't want any. They're gonna be like, okay, goodbye. We're not working with you anymore. That's just how it is for me. I've seen it.
Yeah, I basically opened a couple of bags the first time and was like, all right, we can do this regularly. And he does like estates, and you know, he's the guy that wants everything but the clothes. So he's basically like, he's like, I will deliver it right to your door. I will carry it upstairs. Just get it the hell out of my storage space, because I'm paying storage for stuff that's basically trash. And I have a really cheap dumpster, so I can schlep stuff and get rid of it. My poor dumpster partner, the guy I share a dumpster with, thought somebody broke in and like dumped their household trash in our dumpster. I was like, no, that was me. But yeah, it's cool. So I'm basically doing him a favor in his eyes, and he's keeping me from spending a day at the thrift store a week, at least one day a week at the thrift store. And I only have, you know, a handful of hours a day. So
That reminds me of what Thomas was saying earlier too, because you're buying stuff that's raw and needs to be processed. He's trying to buy more stuff that's done, does not need to be processed, but it costs a lot more, potentially costs more. It might not cost more if you find the right supplier. Sometimes you can get stuff that's ready to go because you buy enough volume that they're like, okay, you know, you want to buy all of it, you buy all of it, and you're our only supplier. I mean, a
Yeah.
buyer. But I think that as a wholesaler, they don't want only one buyer too. They want a few people they sell to. So in case one of you falls through.
I'm basically buying the bins for nothing.
Yeah.
And then but I have to deal with everything at the bins. And some of that sucks. But honestly, like, I have boys' clothing in my son's size now for like eternity, because it's whole bags of, you know, like your kid outgrows their clothes and you stick it in a trash bag and you stick it in your storage unit and say you're going to deal with it later, and then you don't.
Right.
So it's just like bag. Like I could literally never buy my kid clothes again if I weren't a sucker for cute kids clothes. So there's that, like, as a family person, like that residual benefit. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's going to end up being, I know it's profitable, but I don't know if it'll be worth the energy, but I think it will. And the guy said, he was like, if you go through this lot and it sucks, just tell me and we'll make it up on the next one.
That's a really good supplier.
Yeah. I mean, he's cool. Like, he sees how symbiotic the situation is.
I see.
So
some. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes me wonder, because you said that there's a fine line between hoarding and what you
Collecting.
Yeah. And I was
Said,
thinking,
where's the line? When you were saying, the guy was like, well, I want them in my size, but then I want them in everybody's size so that everybody else can't have them. Like, I was thinking of the Grinch, like taking all the presents at Christmas. I was like, there are none left in the world. But then Eduardo did make a very good point about basically controlling the market.
well, he also made me buy back. So I sold him a pair of used shoes and that he wasn't going to wear. And the inside of it had sock lint, and he made me buy it back. He's like, I'm not buying shoes with sock lint. That bothers me. So you have to buy it back, because I'll buy everything from you, but you have to make it right. So I said, okay, no problem. So that's, if you're an all the money type of person, sometimes you can be that picky.
Did you buy it back, clean the sock lint out, and resell it to him?
No, I just resold it with the sock lint to somebody else. But
Okay.
he, somebody said in the chat that I should interview him. So he's one of those like super successful people that only does what he wants with his time. And I think everyone should aspire to be that level. He hangs out with his bulldog. He buys shoes and wears shoes all day, hangs out with his wife. And he works for Adriana Goldschmied. He's like one of the top people there. He's either an executive or the top something. So anyway, he makes a lot of money, only does what he wants to do. So I think if you guys need motivation to work a lot, because he works a lot, the motivation to do whatever you want with your time, that should be worth it for you guys to work hard and get your listings done, because he does whatever he wants all day long. And He has a separate apartment for his shoes and hangs out with his dog. That's it. It's so interesting looking at how people spend their lives. And then he told me, I collect sneakers, right? And people think it's a big deal. Think about the people who collect cars or paintings. That's a whole nother level. He's like, I'm just like the baby collector in the collector world, you know? So that's something. If you have a multiple six-figure income, you can collect whatever shoes you want.
It sounds too though like he's defined what is enough for him.
Oh, he's
Like,
he's happy. Yeah.
we think of it as he's like way up at the top, so he must keep striving to get more to the top. But he's not. He's like, I make enough money to like be totally, comfortable and to do the things I want to do, and that's enough.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the hardest part, I think, and that's where most successful people make or break themselves, is like the people that stay successful are the ones who have determined where enough is, so they don't burn themselves out and start making irrational decisions
One time I
in
talked to
pursuit of more.
One time I talked to his wife, and then I was like, what do you think of his shoe habit? She was like, I can think of worse habits for my husband to have, so I'm fine with it. Because I think shoes are amazing. If you're really in the shoes, they're cool. I like looking at them in the history, and just like I can see when Seth talks about coins, it's the same thing. Seth, when you sell things for all the money, it's a different kind of person, I think. What do you think, Seth? What's working for you? What's not?
Yeah, I was shooting for 42 listings a day, and I keep consistently falling short of that, which I'm not afraid of, because it's actually started to show a pattern of what I actually can do good per day. And it seems to be about 30 a day, listing 20 to 25 and banking the rest, trying to build up that draft bank like you were talking about. I used to just list everything that we could get done that day, and it'd be 15, it'd be 38, whatever it was. And so now I'm building that draft bank so that I don't have to work on Sundays, and can just list, stuff that's ready to go. So that's what's working and not working at the same time.
Why 30, and what would make it so you could do 42, you think? Just
I'm still trying to figure that out, but the coins are not like anything else, really. They're their own animal. And so some lots, like I'll do a coin lot of 15 different kinds of coins, because you can't really sell one for more than a couple bucks of certain types. So I'll put them together and have like a $40 lot. Because the same amount, and this is what's also working, the same amount of time it takes me to bag up a $5 item, I can bag up a $45 item. So I've kind of made better use of my time, if you will. Been training that new guy, and he's doing great. His pictures are getting better and better and better. And I am having him, since you suggested it, he is picturing and listing. So it's him and I together doing 30 really good lots, 30 really good lots. And then I either list 20 to 25 and bank the rest. And this is the first week that it's going on, well, since Friday. So it seems to be working. To be continued.
I love it. Let me just show everyone on YouTube the listing accountability chart. So today I got 33 done. So like, this is an accountability sheet that we're doing in the group, and it's awesome keeping track of how many you do each day. And then it helps you understand like what it is you need to do to have an awareness of how many listings you're getting up. So today I can't list anymore. So I had to get all my listings done before this call, because the whole day is already full. So once you know your schedule, you might realize, okay, Tuesdays are easier for me, Thursdays are easier for me, and that will help you get there. And then you might realize, you know what, I want to be a 42 listing per day person, but maybe 30 is comfortable. And you can now You could keep it at 30 and make the lot more expensive. You could go $80 lots and spend more time making them even cooler. And you could be that person on eBay where you have more premium, larger lots and keep your listing goal the same and list higher items. I wonder if Thomas could do that too. Like maybe not lots for science for glasses, but you could start with the higher ASP. But it's hard though. It's hard to move lower ASP items out of the way to list higher ones than just listing all of them.
I have no problem with listing the lower end stuff because that's a different buyer. I mean, it's like kind of hitting the whole market. It's like how the guys that are doing the liquidation pallets talk about how there's like a 12 to 13, a 15 to 17, a 19 to $23 bracket that they seem to price things in.
Yep. So Seth, what gets in the way?
I run my store too, so my brick and mortar. It's like what gets in the way. I mean, it's not really getting in the way that I'm sourcing without having to leave and go anywhere, but it is getting in the way of listing. And so I can have a really busy day at the shop and dealing with customers up front, going back into the back, trying to list something real quick. The doorbell rings again, I go up front and just back and forth. So that slows the process down. I would think that's, if I had somebody to just run the store, I could probably list 40 to 50 a day of really good, solid listings. But it wouldn't pay to have somebody run the store. So I'm kind of at that point where I still have to do both of it.
Linda in the group has somebody running her store while she does the eBay. That's her internet's not the best this morning, but I'm curious how she did it. And I wonder that too. If the person you hire, you just break even then after you hire them, then that's not worth it. How do you?
Yeah, and I just
did because I really lucked out and got the right person. It's the only reason. And I'm probably going to make him my partner, so he'll benefit.
I got you. Yeah, if you could hire someone somehow that grows the revenue, I mean, that's very difficult, but that
well,
would.
it is in my business too, because, you know, to give you an idea, last week I spent about $14,000 on brand new gold jewelry that came in through the door, and about $3,000 on coin related stuff. So that's a lot of processing to do a lot of that stuff. I still have a tray that is full of gold jewelry that I don't even have time to process. So I don't know if I'm gonna have to bring it home or what I'm gonna have to do, but so there's all of that, you know, that you're getting so much in and you can't really sell it that fast. Like gold necklaces for us, because we're coin and jewelry, gold necklaces for us, I just can't seem to sell them at a fast enough rate, but they're 70% of what walks through the door for jewelry. So I'm forced to
Seth, I
just
have a
melt
question
it.
for you.
Yeah, what's up?
When you bought those items for $14,000 or whatever, like were you buying them as an investment because to you had the cash, you could do it, it's worth the money because it's gold, it most probably will be more valuable later, or did you just buy it thinking I'm buying this as inventory to sell?
Everything I buy with the idea that I'm going to have to melt it. So I buy it a little bit back of melt. And I stopped falling in love with the jewelry a long time ago. It's just a pile of gold that needs to go somewhere. But I'll run out of money real fast, as you can imagine. You know, you got your regular bills, you got payroll, you got all those things going on. And so $25,000 in a week could easily happen. And I don't have that much though. So I'm kind of at that point with jewelry where I really need to figure out what to do with the slower inventory because I don't want to just melt it. You know, I'm tired of taking bags of brand new jewelry to go melt them. You know, I think I can do better, but I haven't quite figured out how to market those necklaces better. I don't know. I got to figure it out. So that on the jewelry side, that's what's holding me up is too much inventory, not enough sales. So
That
no,
sounds
I
like a
don't
lot
look
of
at it as
people.
an investment. I don't look at it as an investment. It's just money tied up.
Okay, thank you. I asked because I kind of have a similar thing here and I just stopped buying. That's why I've been making more money now because I'm selling. But before I was like every time I saw, but I was kind of like using my collector eye and gut to buy stuff that was high value, that would be an investment for me, that would be more worth more money later. And then when I got to it, whenever I get to it, it's still going to be worth money or more money. So that's kind of like what I was thinking. So I was buying everything that I could that would hold a value or increase a value. And the collector market, it's always like that because you do something similar. You sell coins. Coins is there's a collector market. And you were talking about the numismatic value the other time. And it's just that, there's the gold value, which is good. And then there's the numismatic value, which makes it much more valuable. But then it takes more time to sell because you need that collector that wants that coin in that condition. So you have to wait more. So it was happening to me. It was happening something similar like that. So that's why I stopped buying as much as before. So I was just curious. So that's why I asked the question. Thank you for the
Well, you
response.
can't. You're welcome. The difference though is you can't just stop buying when you have a brick and mortar because word will get around real fast. Take your gold somewhere else. They don't. They run out of money all the time or something. So
Right.
you're caught between a rock and a hard spot. You're like, I gotta buy this. Every coin shop in like a 25-mile radius of me has shut down. I'm the last of the Mohicans, and so it's me or the pawn shop, and I pay better than the pawn shop, so that's why it keeps pouring in. But I can't just say nope, no more. Sometimes I close up the
I
shop.
understand. That's hard.
But
Why did everybody else go to business?
bad business practices, because for a long time people were hand to mouth, and when COVID hit, people stopped walking through the door. Well, I had a ton of inventory, and it just allowed me to get caught up on a lot of inventory. So I've been able to ride it through. And in California, there's a lot of places that are shut down because of COVID. But I live in this little city inside Riverside County, and Riverside County has said they will not enforce any kind of mask mandate or anything like that. So that's allowed a lot of smaller businesses to stay open. But those other businesses, just their business model itself was fragile. So something like this destroyed them. So, I remember back in the day, hearing all money ain't good money. You gotta bank some product behind you to back up for slow weeks or months. And we definitely do that.
I like Tech's good money ain't easy and easy money ain't good. So I like that. It's kept me out of a lot of trouble. When I see something that's too good to be true, it's not good for me.
Well,
Move
and
on
that's
to the
what I
next
say
thing.
with
Go
all
ahead.
money ain't good money, because people come in my door all the time and say, do you want to buy this? But yeah, I want to buy it, but I have to keep saying, if it ain't gold, if it ain't silver, if it ain't coins, it ain't for me. And because of your video of the bicycle analogy, maybe I can make a couple $100 off that bike, but it's going to take me 4 hours to list it and do all that. And if you do the math, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I'm not a bike salesman. So focusing on that has increased my buying power, my inventory lots. And now I just have a good problem. What do I do with this stuff? It's not, I need stuff. So that's where I'm at.
Jen, you have a question?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to know if it was the online sales during the COVID that kept you afloat.
It definitely was online sales. I mean, I've got 3 eBay stores and 1 Etsy store, and online sales were through the roof. It was great, but that should tell you how much inventory is there. It's not enough. It's just, I don't know. I was thinking last night about what to do with all these gold necklaces, because they're brand new gold necklaces with like a ruby pendant or a sapphire pendant or something, or little diamonds on it, whatever. And I'm thinking, do I just put out like a sale somewhere that blows it out? You know, hey, it's melt plus 15%. Come get them. You know, because then I don't have eBay fees. I don't have anything like that. So, but I don't know if that's the answer.
They'd make great Christmas presents.
Yeah, I have a Christmas present pile every year of stuff to give out for that. You know, so, but I don't know. Pray for me.
We will. I like the saying, being able to say no to inventory. Somebody asked if you sold stamps, and you said you just buy them to use them. I have a question for Jen and Jason. If you guys are both in real estate, why are you reselling right now? Is this not the hottest real estate market in history? How do you not spend 1,000% of your time on real estate? Jason, why are you reselling right now?
Well, what happened with me is when COVID came into town and things shut down a little bit, not too much. I was a little worried about how things were going, and I always wanted to do something online. So I started doing that. Like I had a friend, a real estate investor who I worked a long time with, who wanted to sell all his real estate investing material. And I decided, well, this is a good time to take the leap. So I sold all that for him on consignment. And I started to realize that it's something I enjoy, because you could list stuff and then like 2 o'clock in the morning, you could see it's sold. Or I could just be out, at a bar or something like that and see sales coming in. So I thought it was really great that sales were coming without me actually being there to facilitate the sales. So just because I enjoyed it, I kept up with it.
I see. All right, fair enough. Because I was just, here, the house can have foundation problems, termite problems, falling apart, and it'll sell for 10% over asking. So I'm like, why are people in real estate not just taking a break from anything else they do and just focusing on getting more houses? Because reselling is the golf of business. You can do it as long as you're mobile. So you could do it forever, but who knows if this real estate market is going to continue to be so ridiculous.
Well, you got to remember too, the other part of selling in real estate is you got to get the listings. And we have record number of not listings. There's not a lot of houses available. I mean, we are down, here in Arizona, we were down, I think, over 80% where we were last year for the number of homes for sale. What's record is what people are getting for those homes.
Right.
Our average price in Arizona, I think in June, was $509,000. That's up $139,000 from the year before.
Oh my God.
The average price. But we've been sailing down, but there's just not a lot of listings, Chris. I've got tons of buyers. I have 4 in escrow right now. And yeah, it's great. But I remember when I didn't have 4 in escrow a few years ago, I ran into some trouble with listings, and I just needed another source of income. So for me, that's why I asked him, did online sales help you through COVID? Because believe me, real estate stopped for several months when COVID first started. And I was glad I had a resale business.
It's getting the listing. There's no supply.
No supply. It's the hardest part.
Well, that makes sense. There's also I cannot believe what's going on with the real estate market. And, meet Kevin, a fellow YouTuber. He was running for governor. And he was talking about how even though tons of people are moving out of California, there's still more people moving into California, even with, everything, how difficult it is to do business in California. Everyone is still moving here because there's just so many jobs here. So it's interesting, looking at the situation where tons of people are still moving here. So, yep. I was thinking about moving to Florida for fun, but I'm married now with a kid and family is here. So I will stay here. Michelle, what's working for you? What's not working?
Well, I'm in the process right now of like adding to my storage. So that's my project for today. I think probably the thing that's working for me is like I haven't missed a day listing in a couple of months, which has really improved my overall stats.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that isn't working is that it's not a consistent number every day.
Mm.
So I'm listing every day. There's activity in my store every day. My store is open and ready every day, but it's not the same amount every day. And so it makes my graph just kind of like it's all over the place. What's good though is that I've been able to figure out like if I list 5 things a day for 3 days, my sales drop a lot. But if I list 20 things a day or 30 things a day or 40 things a day for a couple of days, my sales like shoot through the moon. So it really is kind of like I can see the correlation a lot better than I used to be able to. Of like actually you do have to bump those numbers up as much as you can because it really makes a huge difference.
So I love this. What's working is listing every day. What's not working is that it's not the same amount every day. So now what gets in the way? Why can't you list the same number of items each day?
Well, I'm on my own, so it's a little bit like life gets in the way sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So like today I'm doing storage. I have to do storage because I'm out of storage space. But I did wait until today, which is my normal day off, like from listing. So I take Wednesdays and Sundays off because I do the call later today and so I can do grocery shopping and kind of have a Wednesday off. So I'm doing that project today on a normal day that I wouldn't list anyway.
Can you do a few days heavier and take the other days off? Like Mark is in the same boat with you, lists every day, but not the same amount. And I'm wondering if it's correlated with your draft bank. Do you need a big enough draft bank that you feel safe? And then you're scared of your draft bank shrinking? Mark, what do you think? How do you get in that?
Well, for me, the problem is me. Just like I've been consistent for more than a year, listing just the good amount that I want, my goal during my work day, but on my day off, I'm just too lazy. And so what ends up happening is I would list 20, like I would put in 16 on my work day and then I would have 10 in the draft. And that's what the listing goes up on my days off. And then I'm done for the day. And I don't want to work anymore. And I got to change that. I know like it is affecting my metrics, but I was listening to your past podcast, your video regarding having a good why I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that before and I lost that. And I really gotta, get back to the way it was before. And you know how I was before. And I just gotta get back to that mindset again.
What was the previous why and how do we get it back there?
Well, the previous why was I thought that my work is only gonna last 6 more months. I was stoked. I was like, all right, let's go all in. And then come to find out, we renewed the lease, and then we're gonna be here for another year and a half, and then so now the security blanket is up again. When I found out it was 6 months, okay, my security blanket is gonna be gone. But a year and a half, so I kind of messed with my head, and security blanket is back on. And then I hurt my back. I used up all my drafts on that for a whole week. And then after that, it was just downhill. And the motivation wasn't there. And I got to find a better why. And that's it. Yeah, exactly. From what Seth mentioned in the chat. Yeah, I have no sense of urgency now because of the new lease for my work.
Yeah, that's important. I told Jason that his why was really weak because he was saying he just wants to make some extra money. That is not strong enough to get you to list every day, right? You need like this really powerful, larger than you, like, I want to do this so my family's taken care of. I want to do this because I hate my boss. Hate my boss is the best one. Don't like your boss, you will work really hard.
The one that I had 6 months, when I found out, well, okay, we have 6 months, the biggest drive I had was spite. I was like, I want to make more money than anyone in this company before the end of this when my work closes. Because like the politics is kind of sucky. And I kind of like, okay, that drove me. And then I just lost it when I heard about, yeah, we're going to be up for another year and a half. So I was like, yeah, all right. So, but hey, like prior to a month ago, I was actually missing days of listing, but now, I've been consistent on a daily listing. But like what Michelle said, it's just not the same amount of, every day. And I wanted to go back to that.
Yeah, that's important. Everyone, spend some time thinking about why you're doing this, and the more powerful it is, the easier it is to stay on track. Josh?
Yeah, so I guess I could help with like this is going back to what Michelle was talking about, because I was in the same boat where I was posting every day, but sometimes 12, sometimes 20, sometimes 8. And, I wanted a system that was like consistent. So I started off with a very easy goal, and I made it a weekly goal, which was 70 a week, which is 10 a day. And then it increases 5 every day. So it comes out to like around every 8 days, I go up 1 a day. And the reason that was so successful for me was because I don't have to think. I filled out my calendar for the rest of the year. Like today I'm at 13 a day. Tomorrow I'm at 14 a day. It's the first day of 14. So the first thing I do every morning is, and this, I feel bad because this doesn't help Mark because he doesn't have a draft bank anymore, but I go downstairs, or I go to my office and I upload my 13, and that's the first thing I do. And then I work on listing more, fighting back to get my draft bank to higher what it was the day before. So I'll save in the drafts, hopefully more than 13 every single day. And then my draft bank goes higher and higher and higher every day. For me, that's important. I need systems where I don't have to think, or else I'll go nuts. Should I do 18 today? Should I do 11 today?
So I have to go now, but I think you hit right on the nose something that's really hard for people. You can't keep increasing your listing goal. That you'll never feel like you're done. You'll never feel like you get a break. That's not, I think you should cap it at where you want to be. Figure out what it takes to get Seth wants 42 listings a day. Michelle wants 50 listings a day. Figure out the math to figure out how to do that, and then call it a day. I spend hours, maybe every day, thinking about the ideal eBay business when I could just pick a number and be done. What are your bills and how much money do you want to make? And then just set that number. And for Seth, maybe getting to 42 from 30, if 30 is easy, why make it difficult for yourself? Maybe get part-time help to get to 42 and then call it a day instead of if you can't do 42 a day because it's soul crushing, then just leave it at 30. I think 30 is the best number. Averaging 30, 7 days a week solo means 42 a day, but 5 days a week, or 53, 4 days a week, or like 73 days a week. 73 days a week, I think, is more realistic, because when you get on a roll, you might as well keep going. And then some days you can't do it at all. So it's so interesting looking at it, but I'm over trying to increase my goal and reformulate it all the time. It's so time consuming and exhausting. So just like pick a number, be done with it. Otherwise, you'll just keep destroying yourself. More listings every week is a depressing life. I don't know if you can do that. It's really hard to list more the next week. I would rather you get done earlier. Get done earlier next week. Done and done earlier and earlier and earlier. Like, yeah. Plus the listing quality starts to go down sometimes when you increase more and more and more. And, you know, like Thomas has Death Mountain. Should he hire a crew of 5 people to come in and 5 more VAs? I think that would be a nightmare. But if he's happy with 70 a day, then just get done earlier. But I have to ask Thomas though. Thomas, what would you do with the extra time? If you got done a couple of hours earlier, what would you do?
Tackle Death Mountain, only one objective.
So yeah, if you have more time, you can do more Death Mountain too. All right. Well, everyone have a wonderful day.